the grandstand, and it's amazing to finally see some bikes out on the TT course. And it's also great to be able to catch up with Mr. ITV4, Craig Doyle. Craig, it must be really frustrating you're halfway through the week and we've not actually seen any bikes yet. From your perspective and the TV side of things, how's it been for you planning around the racing and the schedule?
It's interesting, you know, I'm split on two on it a little bit. You know, obviously we've come here to watch bikes go, and you know, our program schedules are built around seeing bikes go. So when we don't have them, we got to find other things to put in there, and that's not ideal, obviously. In saying that, and the other side of that is, it means we can sit down and have a 7-minute chat with John McGuinness, or a decent chat with Guy Martin, or whoever it might be, or just get down to the bottom paddock and meet some people. And you know, when you're packing your shows full of racing, you don't get to do all that. So, you know, I guess on one side of things, yeah, we're not seeing racing, but we are getting a real flavour of what the TT is all about. And that's as important as the sport itself, if you ask me, you know, because it is so unusual, isn't it?
Definitely it is. And it's 9 TTs now for you, which is absolutely flown by. In that time, have you built up some good relationships with the riders?
Yeah, I have. I mean, it's a weird thing when you're working as a presenter and as a journalist in sport. You keep a little bit of distance. You don't want to annoy them, and for the most part, if you're sticking a microphone in their face, you're kind of annoying them, you know. So you keep a little bit of distance. I don't want to be kind of annoying them, but yeah, you get to know them quite well. Some you don't get to know at all because they've just got race face on all the time. You get to know the teams quite well, the mechanics, the team owners. You do get to know them quite well. You get to know some of the fans better than anyone. You know, they're coming back year on year, and you see the same old faces every single year, and that's pretty incredible. But in any sport, I always keep a little bit of distance because they're terrified half the time, and they've got all this adrenaline going, and I'm just trying to get a job done, and sometimes those worlds clash a little bit. So sometimes you get asked tough questions as well. If someone has a bad day out there or something's not working out and you got to ask why, it's harder to ask someone you're very, very friendly with, you know. But I do like them, and they're really nice people, they're good people, right, all of them. Very different personalities, and I have huge respect and admiration for them. So yeah, it's good. It does build up. It does build up, you know. I've never been around this course on a motorbike at high speed, so I will never understand how they feel or how they do it. So to just talk to them about those emotions, the physical side of it is fabulous.
Were you ever a racing fan before the TT?
I got thrown into motorbikes, gosh, like 16 years ago maybe, by the BBC. So I did lots of different jobs at the BBC as a news and sports journalist and radio, and then I moved into travel shows and science shows and all that, but I was always doing sport. And when I moved fully into sports, primarily to present Grandstand, I guess they saw me as a rugby presenter, which I primarily am, but they said, you know, we want you to do motorsport as well. And I thought I was going to be sent off to do Formula 1. I was sent to the British Superbike Championship, which is an absolute blessing, was an absolute blessing, and it's one of the most enjoyable times I've ever had in work, touring around doing the BSB. Fabulous people, great riders, I'm friendly with so many of them now, and that really got me into it. You know, I come from obviously a sporting background, but my father had some garages, mechanic, and so I was always involved in engines, but more car engines. I'm so glad BSB happened for me because it led to all this.
Now, we've seen you very busy at work, chatting to some fans today. You've just been doing some voiceover work. What can we expect for the next couple of nights on the TV?
Tonight's going to be a great show, actually. We had a really good sit-down chat with John McGuinness, and it wasn't even necessarily about bikes or the Honda, the SP2, you know, whether it was working or not. It was about him. And not even the physical side of his rehabilitation, but the mental side and how tough that is. And he's going through a really hard time at the moment, and he was very honest and very emotional. So we have a bit of that going on. We have practice from last night, and then tomorrow, please God, everything goes to plan, we will finally have a race on. So once the racing starts, our show tends to be, first part of the show, build up, who might do what, who's in a good place, who's in a bad place, what's the weather going to do, blah, blah, blah. Then we have 2 parts racing, and the last part is reflection with the guys, and then a little feature, because we also have to use this as an opportunity to show the people the island. You know, we were in a butcher's shop yesterday, and goodness knows where Steve Barris is going to be tonight. So, you know, it's a real mishmash, this show. It's a real mishmash, and that's what it should be. You know, but bikers don't tend to get a magazine show. This is the one time of the year they get a proper magazine show, and so it's many things to many people, I guess.
So when the racing's on, where do you watch? What's going through your head when the race is going on? You know, are you watching sector times? Or are you just watching the overall bigger picture?
It depends. It changes throughout. First couple of laps, you know, take a Superbike or senior, I'm watching sector times, and then you're forming a picture. Right, where's this going? Top 3, 4, 5. Who might actually get top spot here? And then you're following that. Obviously, you're in watching the. I'll be in the pits, watching the pit stops. Watch both those pit stops, and then 2 laps to go. I'm kind of hanging around the press room, just time sheets. Actually, I'm rarely out here. It's times. You know, what story's developing, who's nipping away, what might the pit boards be saying? You know, it's our job to put a narrative, put a shape, put a story around it, and understand that, because I got to go in and this is where it's actually really quite hard. I've got to go and interview the 3 guys. Between Steve Plater and I, we do those interviews, and you know, I haven't seen what they've done. You know, you're basing it on the radio, which is hugely important here, and times. You know, when I'm doing rugby, I'm watching everything unfold in front of me for 80 minutes. I know every single nuance of that game. Here, it's like, it's a bit of a shot in the dark. In fact, sometimes they ask me what happened, and I have to tell them. So it's really weird, and it's really strange, but it's good fun. It's good fun. But yeah, you're trying to keep an eye on everything, really, you know.
Final question, Superbike Sunday, any predictions from you?
Gosh, you know, I think coming into the weekend, I was thinking, you know, Michael Dunlop, Hutchie on his tail, bit of a battle between the two, and then Bruce Anstey goes and puts in an absolute flyer last night, and that's Bruce for you, you know. He can go and break a lap record tomorrow, and it's going to be between those 3. See how practice goes today, what bikes are behaving. People have a bit of tinkering still to do, but I don't know. One of those 3, but then there could be a surprise. I think it's going to be a brilliant year on that front, actually. I really do. We're going to get surprises. So, yeah, I didn't really give you an answer, did I? I've learned never to give an answer on that front. Yeah.